Welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music. Well, the things we care about, which is mainly live music and metal music. Today's episode, what are we going to talk about, Karen? And I'm your host, Brian, joined with your other host, Karen. Forgot that a little bit this time, but whatever. What are we talking about today, Karen?
We're going to talk about our awesome trip to Iowa City to see our friend's band play.
Yeah. So we went back to Iowa City. I really love this city, Iowa City. It's one of the few places that I think I've lived while I lived there. And we didn't necessarily live in Iowa City, right? We lived North Liberty, which is like I don't know if they call them what they're...
Bedroom community.
Bedroom community, right.
Yeah.
Fucking hated it there.
Yeah.
Because it's a bedroom community. There's nothing there because you can drive to Iowa City, you can drive to Coralville, and have everything you want within a 20, 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
Which isn't like a normal 20, 30-minute drive. It's 20, 30 minutes in traffic going through. On a good day, you can get there in like 10 without traffic.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
But I have always loved Iowa City. It's such a great town. And we went to Grand Rapids earlier this year for the first time. Grand Rapids to me has a very, very similar vibe to Iowa City. And we loved Grand Rapids when we were there.
Yeah, I like both of them. But like Iowa City, we lived there, lived around there, so we know where everything is and know how to get around and everything, so it's nicer.
Right. And so we went back to see primarily our friend Jerry Noto play in his band, Thrash of the Titans. They are a tribute band to the Big Four, so that's Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, and of course Metallica. You know, the bands that make up the Big Four. And they're a tribute band to them. We've known Jerry for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out. It's like 2005-ish.
I would say 4 or 5.
4 or
definitely
5,
in there, yeah. I was definitely in high school. I graduated in 2006. So
did he live in Iowa when we started dating? I was trying to figure that out.
See, I can't remember either.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
But we went to go see them. They played October 8th, 2022. That was a Saturday night at Gabe's, Iowa City. A small little hole-in-the-wall bar in Iowa City, you know. A lot of them are small hole-in-the-walls, but there's also some big, massive, because it's a college town, right?
Yeah.
This was just a normal-sized hole-in-the-wall type bar.
Yeah. And it is, so the venue location is downtown, but it's off of the Ped Mall, just a few blocks. So it's not quite in that area of bars where all the bars are.
Yep.
But it's just like 2 blocks away from.
It's not even 2 blocks. It's 1 block south of Englert.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's on Gilbert and Washington.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's Englert,
Yeah.
1 block south. Well, south meaning down, not like a cardinal direction. My south.
Yeah, it would be east of Englert.
Because there's a hill and you walk down, and down is south. So.
But it is one thing, like we don't need GPS when we go back here because we lived here, which is really nice. But one thing I realized is I don't know the street names in Iowa City. I just know how to get places.
Yeah, that's true. I know Dubuque Street because that was the road we rode down from North Liberty.
Yeah. But I don't know how to get to Dubuque Street. Like, if I was trying to explain to somebody, like, oh, you go to, like, Iowa, Dubuque, like, I don't know those roads. And, like, I know Gilbert because that's the one that goes, like, south. But otherwise, I don't know any of the street names. Here in Chicago, like, I'm pretty good with street names and pretty good with giving directions using street names. But in Iowa City, it's like, oh, you go to Englert, and then you turn east, or you turn right, and you walk 1 block.
Yeah, and that's my type of directions is landmark, and buildings to me are landmarks, right? Like,
yeah.
They're the things that aren't changing. Englert is not fucking changing in Iowa City. So to me, that's like 0, 0 of the graph, and then from there I can get wherever I want. But you say we don't need GPS when we're back in Iowa City, and I 100% agree. If we're driving around, we don't need, and even downtown, we kind of don't need GPS, except for this time, finding Gabe's. We actually had to use it to find where it was, because, go ahead, I'll let you tell the story.
Oh, all I was going to say is I thought it was a different venue that we had walked past already, but I was looking for the Gabe's sign, because we didn't do the bars when we were in Iowa City at all. So, like, we walked around the Ped Mall. I know the area pretty well and stuff. I don't know the bars.
I
So the venue that I thought it wasn't it. So then that's where it's like, well, let's look it up and see where it is. And then I was like, oh, it's that one down by Gilbert.
Yeah, I remember walking around, and I know the exact same bar you were. And we walked by it later that evening. It started with an M, I want to say.
No,
I don't know.
remember.
It's on the street that Van Allen Hall's on, I think.
Yep. Yeah, across the street from that.
Last time we were in Iowa, they had like a band playing inside that sounded really good.
Yeah.
More bluesy, I think. But yeah, that's the one I thought it was at too. And then we walked past that. We missed it altogether. And like, well, maybe it's over here. So we walked down a little bit. And then we started going down a different street, like 1 block over from whatever street that one is, on the other side of Van Allen Hall. And I knew there were a couple bars and a couple restaurants down there that I had been to with work and whatnot. I was like, oh, it's at that place. But no, once again, we went back towards the Ped Mall, back towards Englart, wherever, and see, this is it. We're going by shops and locations, right? Because it's the corner, whatever corner a car is on. That's the same street that Van Allen Hall faces, right?
Yeah.
So it's that one, and you go to that corner, and then you're walking back toward our hotel, which is Hotel Vitro, which is also where Englart is, and we're walking that direction, and then we get to Englart and turn left.
Oh, okay.
So we're basically making a giant loop back down to that street till we find Gabe's, and that's where it was. And yeah, I completely did not think it was down there. I was thinking the first location you thought, and then another one closer to Van Allen Hall, and that like side street. Just there, I know there's a couple small bars, or there were at one point.
Yeah. I think if we knew the bar scene better in Iowa City, we would have known exactly where it was. So.
For sure. And Gabe's has been there for fucking ever, apparently.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. We'll get into that too. But yeah, so point 2, that was the venue, Gabe's. Openers. I'm gonna fuck this name up, and I'm so sorry. Rehtek. Rehtek. Rethek. Rehtek. I guess that makes sense. Rehtek.
I get how you get the TH sound in there because
it's the with a K. Yeah, I don't know. Anywho, Rehtek. And I like this name. WonkZilla'z Zombie Experience. WonkZilla being the front man of this particular band. We paid $10 ahead of time with $3.06 in tax. We went through the front door line to get in, and there were a bunch of kids in front of us, and I think they were paying, what was 15. The price? 15, right?
$15.
15 at the door. So not bad. $10 ahead of time with $3.06 in fees.
Yeah, we saved $1.94.
What is that? That's still 30% tax and fees, right?
Yeah.
But I'm guessing the vast majority of that is a tax more than a fee.
And it could be because I think you bought them on like a service, so it could be the services fee.
Yeah, it was like a service, like an Eventbrite type service, right? Like very doing small venue type stuff. And you're right, that could just be a fee for using their service, which still not bad. Like I said, I would venture to bet most of that is city tax and state tax and whatnot.
Possibly.
Which is
they don't have city tax there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Iowa City did, or maybe I was thinking.
No, so Iowa does it by county. So they have a county tax, but it's not they don't have a city tax.
Gotcha. But still, not bad for a show. $13.06 per ticket, or $15 at the door. I did notice, and I kind of smiled when this was going on. The kids in front of us, everyone he asked, "Are you over 21 or under 21?" And then they would say, "Under 21." Okay, give me your the backs of your hands, and you put a big X on both.
Yeah, like
both
huge
of them.
X and marker.
Yeah, and you're used to that. Like I've been to shows where they do that. Like it's for the bartenders. These people are clearly minors. It just made me smile that that he's like, I trust you. Are you over or under 21?
I'm sure if they said I'm over 21, he would have been like, "Can I see your ID?"
Yes, that's what I was getting to exactly, because he would have done that. And it's more like, I'm not going to look at your ID if you're just going to straight up admit you're not drinking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
I hate trying to find those fucking date of births.
That's kind of his vibe of like how I took the vibe of his voice too, like.
Right.
And I'm sure if you're doing a door in Iowa City, you're going to be able to recognize.
You know
the
who
kids.
should be or shouldn't be drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I also noticed beforehand, before we went to the show, I was at the other bar, and they had like a mirror behind the bar, like a lot of places do. And sort of in the frame of the bar were a bunch of IDs.
Oh.
My assumption is those are fake IDs they confiscated.
Probably.
So it's clearly they check IDs. They're looking for folks. I just thought it was funny that it's like, let's not waste my time. Are you drinking or not drinking?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking. All right, here's an X. So I'm sure if he didn't card me, but I'm over 21 clearly. Like,
yeah, we're clearly.
I don't
over.
look like I'm 12.
Yeah.
And
we were upstairs the whole time.
And yes, we were
but
upstairs.
That's a different. Yeah, we'll get to that.
But and I didn't see him, so I was like, all right, he doesn't know that we've been here before. But then doesn't card me. And when I go to get my tickets, I have my ticket pulled up on my phone. He's got a sheet of paper pulled out.
Yeah.
What's my last name? Give him my last name and just scratch her name off and put it on. So it's kind of cool that I didn't have to like show the actual ticket and scan it. And I've seen this paper method used before. It's effective. Like it works. Just kind of cool all together. And then we kind of made our way upstairs. But that was a long story to talk about the at-door price. The main thing I thought was funny, like I said, was the whole, don't waste my fucking time. Do you want an X or not?
Yeah, yeah.
So
let's back up a little bit.
Yeah, let's back up a little bit.
Yeah, let's back up to Friday and Saturday morning.
So the main reason we came back was 100% to see our friend Jerry at this show. While we lived in Iowa City, one of my favorite things to do, especially in the fall and winter months, was go watch the Iowa hockey college hockey team play hockey. That's a lot of hockeys, but like that was one of my favorite things to do, right? It was, and you were still in school. We weren't making a whole lot of money, right? And so like the name of the game was find cheap or free entertainment. And the hockey was both. Like it was cheap and free because it was at the Coral Ridge Mall where they have an ice rink. And so this is a college hockey team, but it's not like a sponsored sport by the college. It's a club team. So it's just a bunch of kids who play hockey, want to get together and play hockey together, essentially.
Well, it's a, yeah.
I mean, it is a real team. Right?
Yeah, and it's like you're making it seem like it's just a bunch of friends that got together to play hockey.
They have coaches, they have staff.
It's a club.
It's a club.
It's a real team.
But they're not funded. That's
right. They're not funded by the university. Yes.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
So everything they get are from like boosters or just people donating or their own money, right?
Yeah. No, how you said that was
like,
oh, just a bunch of kids that got together to play hockey. No.
In some extent it is, but at the same time they have some adult supervision along with them.
Yeah, and it's an actual club and they actually have like tournament or like they actually have like.
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing.
I mean, yeah, it's not just a bunch of kids that got together to play hockey.
No, it's not. And one of my good friends right now is from a school and they had a club team and he was their goalie and had a blast doing it, and like we were watching it. So that was the thing, right? Luckily enough, they were having hockey the same weekend. Like they alternate weekends, or they're not always in Iowa City. And so it's like, oh shit, let's double up. We get to see our friend Jerry play, and we get to go watch some hockey, like relive some of these moments and like some of my best times in Iowa. We're just sitting there watching, or Iowa City, sitting there watching like this team play. So I was super excited. We went, like you said, they play Friday night, Saturday night, or Friday and Saturday. They used to play when we lived there, 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday. They had 2 teams. Now it's just one. And yeah, we were able to get there Friday night at like 8:00 at night was when the game started, or 8:30ish, whenever it officially started or eventually started. And then early Saturday morning. So we got to be able
Not
to.
early.
It was 10:45. That's early.
Yeah.
for me, I don't know. That seems early. I don't know. Anywho,
It was almost noon, so it's not that early.
yeah, all right. But no, it was a lot of fun to double up. Like, I love this city. It's so much fun. It's so awesome. Just to, like, I don't know. I love Iowa City. The vibe, it's all great. And then getting to see the hockey team again, relive some of those moments, and then get to see a friend play in his band at a bar that like we've never seen, or this club we've never seen. I was so excited for this entire weekend, all of it together, and this was a great weekend. Like, for, I guess, spoilers, fucking awesome weekend. I had a great time all around. Yeah, and like we said, the reason we came was for our friend, Mr. Jerry Noto. Mr. Jerry Noto.
Mr. Gerald Noto.
Gerald, yes. A guy we've known since you mentioned it. We were in high school.
I don't know exactly when, but we were young.
Yeah, and I think he's like 3 years older than me, so like we're all roughly around
I thought
the
he was
same.
only 1 year older than you.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
I think he's only 1 year older than you.
Maybe. Anywho, I mean, even 3 years, like we're all roughly around the same age.
Yeah.
You know, living life the same, like experiencing things the same. So, and I met Jerry right around the peak of my getting into metal, getting into hard rock music. And definitely had a big influence on me growing up. And he's been in a few bands. I've seen at least one other band he was in.
Yeah, I remember going somewhere and seeing him play before.
And yeah, he's jumped around there, and we've always thought he was like fucking fantastic at guitar. Like his favorite band is definitely Megadeth, and that's a lot of his influence whatsoever. Like just Megadeth and that whole genre and thrash as a whole, like, has been a big influence on him. And once again, you know, rubbed up on us and been a big influence on. I can't speak for you, but for me, for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when we were kids, and I'm saying kids when we were younger, and all of us just riding around in our friend's car and listening to music and doing what kids do, and I mean that was part of it. So
yeah, and those were a lot of fun times for me, right? Like driving around the car, just listening to music, and we were all into the same things, not just music, like video games and nerd culture and geek culture and whatnot. Like some of our friend group more than others, and some not. Like into comic books and whatnot, but like we all had the same sort of vibe, same sort of interest, and we all just kind of grew apart as we got older. And it's one of the things I look back on, like all my friend groups growing up and whatnot, and it always sort of follows that same path of, hey, we're super, super close, like we're best friends.
And we did everything together.
Exactly. We'll do everything together. And then we all just sort of drift apart and do our own things, and then form new friend groups, and it's the same sort of thing again. And then that friend group sort of falls apart. And I always look back on that, and I'm a little disappointed in life that like I never kept some of those friendships going long term. Like Jerry's had a huge impact on my life, and all of us, Jake, Kyle, Jerry, you, like everybody in that at that time.
I'm included.
You'll be included now.
Yay.
Like such a huge impact, and then we all just sort of drift apart. So I have not stayed very close to Jerry. I don't think I've even messaged him on Facebook or anything in fucking years. You messaged him a few times, right? Like when his other band put out a CD, I think it was Savage Dawn.
Savage Dawn, yeah.
Savage Dawn put out a album, and he sent you a copy of that, or sent us a copy of that.
Yeah. That was recent. I mean, that was just a few years ago.
Yeah.
Or 2020. That happened in 2020.
And then we were back in Iowa earlier this summer. It had nothing to do, so we just reached out to Jerry through you. And
I just happened to message him.
Hung out with him and his significant other, Darla. And, like, that was my first time meeting her, and I knew she had been a big part of his life,
I think we met her before. Like, we all, like, we're just not putting it together because it was so long ago.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was one of those friendships, like I said, that we've drifted apart.
Yeah.
And we get back together, and it's just picking up old conversations
That's
from where we left off.
That's exactly how I feel too. Is like, even though we hadn't seen each other for probably 8 or 10 years, like I felt like we like went into their home, and it was like we had never, we did the whole catch up thing, like, oh, what have you been doing? What have you been doing? But then it's like we're just the same people, and that's how this trip or this time seeing them as well is just like we do this all the time, even though we haven't seen them for so long. I mean, we saw them earlier this summer, but I mean, it was like 10 years that we hadn't seen them. And it was just like, this is what we do. We're friends. Like, it's one of those friendships that just it's there, even though we didn't work on it, but it was still there.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, and before that, he had been in Thrash of the Titans. They'd been playing a few gigs before that, but like when we met them earlier this summer. And it was one of those things. It's like, you guys got to come out and see me. And like, we'll do it. He was actually closer to Chicago.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago?
Yeah, we had another concert though. I can't remember.
Yeah, we had something else going on. It's like, fuck, that would have been awesome to see.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, we're also going to be in Iowa City. And like we said, fucking love Iowa City. I think when you told me that, I was like, really? You know, it'd be really cool. That's what. Well. When is it? What's the date? Oh, it's like early October or late September, something like that. Oh shit, that's about the time hockey starts. You know, it'd be really cool. Like, we didn't know the hockey schedule, so it was like just awesome that it all lined up. That we got to do all of it. But like I said, the primary reason was going back to see Jerry, and so we missed that one in Davenport.
Yeah, I think they were
Quad Cities,
Quad
Dubuque.
Cities. Yeah. Oh, they were just in Dubuque, like last week or a couple weeks. Oh.
See, I think it was the Dubuque one.
But we weren't going to go to that one. We were going to go when they were in
Rock Island.
Rock Island,
because that's actually in Illinois.
Yeah.
But we had a different show. That might have been Lamb of God.
It may have been when we were in Green Bay and stuff.
Yeah. But the point is, they've been around a few times, and we just couldn't make it work. It's in Iowa City. We love that city, and it's on a free weekend that we can actually make work. Like, let's do this. If it was in Des Moines and we could make it work, we probably would have been going to Des Moines.
Yeah, and we almost did.
Yeah, that was early in the summer too, and we just couldn't make it work, right? There's something going on.
We didn't have anything that weekend, but it was literally the first weekend in like 7 or 8 weeks that we didn't have something.
Oh.
So we were like, let's not do it. We'll catch another show.
Because didn't we have like the next week also was
Yeah.
like a pickup of another long sprint of doing a lot of shit.
Yeah. And luckily we didn't try to go because that was the week we had COVID.
Oh shit, that was COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah. So our break
yes.
week, whatever you want to call it, the break week was thankfully we had nothing planned that week because we had COVID.
And we would have had to cancel anyway, right?
We would have. Yeah, that's what I'm. I even told Darla that I said like, I'm so glad that we didn't commit to going earlier this summer when they were in Des Moines, because we would have had to cancel everything.
Right.
And that would have just been more of a disappointment, more of a hassle.
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, it sucks it took so long to get to see him, but we got to see him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought we needed to bring that up because, like, the whole reason we were there was to support Jerry and the band, but primarily, like, we're going to come to support Jerry. We love Jerry, and if he's in the band, he obviously loves you guys, so we're here to support you too. So
yeah.
So I had talked to you in the past, half joking and half not joking, about wanting to be a roadie. Like, I low-key love watching the roadies work in between sets. It's organized chaos, right? It's the set gets over, the band waves, they throw their shit out in the crowd, they say thank you, they might take a photo, they might not, whatever, right? The band says thank you, they get off stage. And then all of a sudden, this swarm of people descend onto the stage and start unplugging everything, packing everything up, and they do it so quick and efficiently. Like, there has to be some sort of logic, right? To all the cables get undone first and put in this box, because not only do you have to pack it all up, you now have to put it into a trailer, to drive to the next city and then be unpacked in such a way that you can get it in and out as fast as you can and get the thing set up as fast as you can. And I've always thought like that would just be a fun thing to be a part of. Like, my task is unplug all the cables. My task is X, right? So watching this at concerts, I've jokingly told you, like, if I didn't have to worry about paying bills or living, a particular lifestyle or whatnot, like, I would love to just do this for a summer. Just travel city to city doing this. And I think you may have told Jerry that as well on my behalf.
No, so you said, I can't remember how the conversation started, but it was a few weeks ago, and you were like, hey, like, let Jerry know that we'll be there, so if he needs help, like, I can help him. So then I jokingly, well, not jokingly, but I messaged Jerry, and I said, hey, Brian wants to be a roadie for a day, or I don't know what I said, but basically like, hey, Brian's willing to help if you want help. And I was like, he's always wanted to be a roadie. Like, so that was where the joke came in. It's like kind of putting together that you have made the comment in the past that you want to be a roadie. Hey, we know a band. Like, you want to be a roadie, so let me message Jerry.
Yeah, and I don't know. So we ended up doing that, right? I think they got to town a little after 3, maybe like 3:10, 3:20, whatever, a little after 3. The store.
Well, and I think they might have been there for a while.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Because, I mean, they had just started unpacking shit from the trailer.
Okay.
So a little after 3, they get there. Doors open 7.
7, yeah.
And gigs started at 8.
Yep.
So 4 hours before the doors even open, they get there. Parked in the alley behind the place. Have their like little SUV thing pulling a small little U-Haul trailer, and it's open by the time we turn the corner to help, and it's just packed to the brim full of shit. Meet Jerry, give him a hugs, do our like hellos and all that shit. And then he's like, yeah, so you want to help him? Yeah, let's go with it. Let's help. He's like, all right, let's go over here. We just need to grab these boxes. And that's all it was. It was pick up a box and walk up these stairs to the venue floor and place them down in front of the stage or place them on the stage. And like we said, they were headlining, right? So we were the only ones there. Like, we walk into this venue hall. There were some tables set up, some chairs slipped on the tables, lights, all the lights were on, and just one other person up there, just this woman like back of the bar. Wasn't sure if she was like a bartender, like why she was there type thing. Talks to a few band members, and we just repeat the thing, right? We go down, pick up, go down, pick up, go down, pick up. And then once we get everything up there, people just jump on the stage and start setting things up. You had joined us upstairs by this time, right?
Yeah, Darla and I just watched you guys walk back and forth for a long time and just chatting and talking. And then once you guys were done, we walked up the stairs. But yeah, so we just continued talking on the side while you guys all worked. But
yeah, and I think so. I got done. All the band members jump on stage to start opening up all these boxes. I think Eric, the other drummer, or sorry, the other guitarist.
The other drummer, the 2 drums.
Yes. Sorry. Eric, the other guitarist. Basically said like, hey, these are the dead boxes or the dead container or dead whatever, right? These are dead. They go back all the way in the back to the right. And I was like, oh, all right. Start following someone, and then we start seeing stuff set up. And this same woman is back there by the bar that I talked about earlier. She's like, oh, yep, they just go all the way over there. You can push them all the way here. There's a couple like chairs. You can put light stuff on there. Okay. And just go back to this. And now, so it's bring everything up to the stage, unload the boxes. Now take the boxes, like the guitar cases, back to now sit in storage. This is a small venue too,
Yeah,
right?
very small.
We had just been to like a bar club in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, this is bigger than that was.
It was. You
Yeah.
said that earlier, and I would kind of agree now that we talk about it more.
Yeah.
And I think during that show we mentioned,
The TVs on this side.
well, the TVs and just the cases in general, right?
Oh, I didn't see cases. All I saw was the TV boxes.
Oh, the TV boxes.
Yeah. I didn't see anything else.
I felt like there were, maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was just the case, but I felt like there was a lot more. But still, it was on the floor next to the crowd, and we thought that was so weird. To like, oh shit, you're just putting your shit here. But also, there's no room, so where else are you gonna put it? So just kind of do that a few times, right? They take the guitars out, they put them in their stands, go back. Take the guitars out, put them in their stands, take the boxes back. So just helping them out doing that. So I wasn't a true roadie per se of like jumping up there, plugging the cables in, testing everything. Like, you have, depending on the size of the band, you have your guitar techs, your drum techs, your person who's doing the plugging all that in, doing sound checks. They might be double duting things, right? Back and forth doing multiple things. There was also another man on the stage helping the lead singer, Matt, right?
Yeah, Matt.
The lead singer, Matt, hang up the banner behind the stage. I never got his real name. All I know him as is Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo.
And I had no clue who this guy was also. Like, when I see a band and like, yeah, when I see a band, I start counting members, right? I was like, all right, you're having at least one guitar, at least one drummer, one singer. Possibly not even, like, you'll have double duty. So we've seen a band of 2, 68, right? It is a guitar and a drum. But now you get guitar, drum, singer. All right, let's throw a bass in there. Okay. And a second guitar. So 5-ish, 4 to 5 is what I expect for most bands. So I'm counting here, and we have Jerry or Gerald, Matt, Eric, Jordan, Greg, Jordan, Greg. So 5. All right, that's where I'd want. And now there's another guy, Yo-Yo, up there on stage also. And I was like, all right, so I don't see 2 drum kits. I don't see enough guitars. I don't see another bass. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. 2 singers? No, that's not very thrash metal. Also, it's a thrash metal band, right? So you're not going to have all that kind of shit going on. So I was like, who is this Yo-Yo guy? What's he doing? Later found out the other woman that we saw in the bar was a sound engineer. So she's running around telling them like where they can set their kits up, where they can plug their stuff into. I have no clue what any of this stuff means that they're saying about, like, set your drum kit up here because the other band will be here. I get that. But, like, you need to plug your stuff into here, 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 here. Like, I don't understand that 100%. But it was all about when she goes back to her panel, how she can, like, do her measurements and make sure that they sound good for what they are doing, what sound they're looking for. And then Yo-Yo is doing additional lights and additional sound effects and additional effects, right? Like they had a smoke machine that Yo-Yo controlled, and he was just sitting there on the side of the stage doing that. So I don't know. That was kind of cool for me to realize that as well.
Yeah.
And all their shit seemed, I don't say homemade, but like their smoke machine definitely had, it was like PVC pipes typed into a machine so they can control where it went. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to see all that setup. We had never been on that side of the setup, right?
Right. I was gonna say that. I was just standing back watching and talking to Darla, but we've never seen that aspect of a band. Obviously, we've seen like the techs and everybody come up and set things up like in between sets and stuff, but we've never seen from complete beginning and end of a set, like all the work that goes into setting everything up. And obviously, these guys don't have. They had you to help run things, but otherwise, like, they don't have, like, Jerry doesn't have a guitar tech. He is his guitar tech. You know, he has to set everything up. He has to get everything where he can hear the sound and tuned and everything like that. And same with all the other guys in the band. And then obviously, just like any other band, they all had their jobs. Like Matt and Yo-Yo were doing the banner while they were setting everything up, because what's Matt have to do? I mean, hugging a mic. I don't know.
I mean, and that kind of goes into it, right? You have to get the banner because the banner sits behind the drums. So there's that order of operations. Like certain things have to go in certain places at certain times. And even Matt made that same joke, right? Of like, I'm the singer. I have the worst job of all of them.
Oh, I didn't hear him say that, but
or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just making that joke, like poking fun at himself. Like, I plugged my mic in. That counts, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. We both had this conversation, like that. We never put two and two together. That like a drum kit has to be set up from nothing to the whole thing. Like, I mean, we've seen it where they've wheeled it in on a, like, you know, a cart or whatever, you know, whatever they wheel them in on, so that they could set them, like they're already set up in the back, and you have to, they just wheel them onto the stage. We've seen that happen, but we've never seen it from, oh, here's all the stands that the drums go on to. Here's, I don't even know all the terminology, but like putting it all together.
Yeah, that is insane. Like, Greg's drum kit was fucking huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've never seen it. It makes sense now that we think about it.
I mean, it has to be set up somewhere. They're not going to put that on a truck.
You just pre-set up,
Yeah.
just sitting there with the cymbals dinging around.
Next time we see Jerry's band, they'll be like, they'll have two U-Hauls, one with the drum kit. And
Already put together.
Craig's going to be like, I'm not doing this anymore.
And yeah, but like we've never thought about that. You have to take each cymbal off.
Yeah.
And then there's a case for the cymbals. I carried that fucking case. It's so goddamn heavy.
Oh, I'm sure.
I did not think it'd be heavy. I was like,
Yeah.
this is
I remember from marching band, just the little ones that you use
Oh,
in
for
marching
real?
band, they're heavy too.
I just assumed it was like an aluminum can. Is what I assumed they were. I did
No.
not assume it was like this thick as fuck metal.
Yeah, no, it's like, I don't know. Like my whole thing was just, it was amazing. I don't know. Obviously, it makes sense. Like, we probably sound dumb saying this, but like, it makes sense. You have to set everything up from scratch. But as a concert goer and not somebody who's involved in that, like, you don't put all that stuff together. It's just get on the fucking stage and perform for me. That's all I want. Like, you don't think of the back end side of how long this takes to put together.
So I do remember, this is a memory I have from early on going to live shows, that, and I guess it's not even that vivid, right? Like, the headliner always has their drum kit set up.
Yeah.
I kind of sort of remember, and this could be wrong, but I kind of sort of remember the roadies carrying on the drum kit piece by piece.
Really?
Before, like, your opener was there, you tear their shit down.
Would this be like Valera or something?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I guess I never really watched them.
Like I said, I've always been
Yeah.
fascinated with it. So I kind of somewhat remember them, like, the openers was set up, right? The headliner was set up. So it's that middle band that you have to worry about. So the opener gets done. They tear their shit down piece by piece. You go in, you grab where the stand holding the cymbal, carry that off. Then you have somebody carrying the kick drum off and the snare drum and all that stuff off piece by piece. And then I always thought bringing it back on piece by piece for the next band, the middle band. But maybe that was set up too and I just forgot. But I kind of remember going back to concerts around 2016, so we took like a 9-year, 5-year, 7-year, some number between 4 and 20-year break.
I think it was like 7 years that we didn't see a concert.
Which falls between 4 and 20, so I was right.
I mean, you could have said 1 in 100.
And I still would have been right, because 7 falls between 1 and 100. Any hoodles. I remember going back to concerts and being like, the crowd looks very cramped, because everything for all the bands when you first got there were on the stage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this seems very cramped. And then the first band gets off, and no longer are they carrying things off piece by piece, but they have these like flat carts or dolly type things, and they just like wheel it out, pick the entire drum kit up, or they pick it up in sections and then wheel it off stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, always like, huh, how the fuck did nobody think about this before now? Like, I didn't think about it.
No.
Like, we worked at a grocery store and they used dollies to bring all their shit around, right? I was like, just do the same thing with your drums. It gets
Yeah.
it on so much quicker and faster. That was just one thought in my head. It's like light bulb, like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing anybody came up with. And in my head, I was like, there's one roadie on some random ass second band, like on the bill band that did it. And then all of a sudden there's like a top notch band watching them like, huh, that motherfucker is a little smart. I'm going to hire that guy. Again, one of those things that, like, to me, that's how drums always were. Always assembled, and then on either dollies or before that, piece by piece. But no, you're right. That's not how it came. And I've never thought about it. And it's so blatantly obviously, like, of course, that's how it comes.
Yeah. I mean, even thinking, you mentioned 68, but I mean, we should have put 2 and 2 together because, like, even 68, like, tears apart their drum kit as they're leaving.
Yes, but piece by piece again. It's not like we're going to undo a cymbal.
That's true. That's
right?
True. Yeah. It is just, like, taking apart the pieces. Or not taking apart, but moving the pieces apart from each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, not only then do you have to reassemble everything, and there's so much fucking shit to reassemble, you now have to put it in its right spot. It needs to be this many inches from, like, and they're not doing it like with measuring sticks right now. It's all by feel. Like, this is how this should be. And it's the individual musicians doing this. So Greg is sitting here on the ground putting his fucking drum kit together, which is 10 million goddamn pieces. Then you have...
It'd be so funny at the end if he's like, where's the screw go?
I have one extra. I think he has a pretty good idea of where everything goes.
I'm sure he does. I never talked to him about it, but I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what he's doing.
I did have a similar thought, though, of like, I wonder if these have like A and A, so he knows that this symbol goes to the A stand up.
So, I mean, this is a little bit later on, but like I watched the WonkZilla guys put together theirs, and it like they had like a symbol on there, and then like no, this symbol goes to this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they were like, so I think it is just like they know by seeing maybe like, and it's not like this is part 1, this is part 2. Put part 1 on part 2.
Also, the stands that hold the cymbals are on like the tripod legs, right?
Yeah.
Where the arms can go up and down at varying heights. How do you know where to stop this
know.
arm?
I know.
I thought I saw WonkZilla with like tape wrapped around there, so like I can no longer go below this.
I don't think so, because I watched him do the same thing, and like he kind of opened one and then he like moved it down and up a little bit, and I didn't see any tape, and I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, how do you know that that's where you need to open that?
I did see the other band, Rehtek, have their amp heads up there, right? Mm-hmm. And they had neon tape across the bottom with numbers, and it was each dial on the head was what it should be set at.
Oh,
so
that,
like, this
man,
is,
we should use that.
And one of the guys carrying it up was like, "Oh, you put numbers on there? That's so smart." So it was like, did you guys just come up like, did this click for you a week ago type thing, like the last show?
Maybe in the last show they had a lot of problems getting like their sound together, so then they were like, "Oh, let's put numbers on there so we know exactly where to put this."
We're still in the fucking roadie part of it, but that's what it is, right? For these small bands coming up, it's, you learn this shit by doing it.
Yeah. Well, we've kind of talked about this before, where like openers, so even if you're going to see like a mainstream band, the openers, a lot of them are doing this shit themselves, like what we saw over the weekend, like, because they don't have the roadies or the techs or whatever to do it. So they do have to like, they have to know like, hey, my amp needs to be set at this number, or my cymbals have to be this high, or whatever the case is, because they don't have somebody to do that for them.
Right, and it's one of those things you just kind of learn by doing.
Yeah.
Like we said with Rehtek and the tape on the thing, it's like you said, maybe the last show they had, there were sound issues or amp issues, and it's like, oh, fuck. And it's always this way with me too at work, and probably with you too, and anybody with work, right? Where it's, you're troubleshooting an issue, you're working through an issue, and it's always the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I forgot to flip on that one switch. That one switch is always marked as on. I just wasted 4 fucking hours of my life trying to fix this thing that, god damn it. And I feel so stupid after. Like, I bet it's something like that you just learn, like, are you shitting me? That's why I sounded like shit, is because it was on a 5 instead of a goddamn 8.
Yeah.
All that to say, I thought this whole experience was fucking awesome. The pre-show experience was awesome, right?
Yeah. It was so cool to see them set up and everything.
And
I mean, granted, I did nothing. I have to say that. I did absolutely nothing. I stood off to the side and watched them do everything.
They all knew their jobs. They knew what they needed to do. They're all setting up their own amps, their own guitars. They're tuning their guitars, make sure they sound good to them individually while they're up there. And they kind of get done, and they just step aside and let Greg finish building his goddamn drum kit.
Poor Greg.
And then it's like, it was funny because it was like Jerry's like, well, I have nothing to do, and Eric and like everybody else was just walking around like, let's go, Greg, let's go. Like,
it's like we had to get here 4 hours early so Greg could put together his drum kit.
But god damn, it was awesome. And as they're doing this, they're all just joking back and forth with each other and laughing and having a great time. Like you can tell like the chemistry with these guys was, they were awesome. They're just there to have fun and chill out and have a good time. And like seeing that, it definitely translates to the stage.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like the performance. Yeah.
Like we're just friends hanging out, having a good time, and fuck it, whatever. Like that's all that matters.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like they would make jokes about nothing else matter, and Greg would start playing like nothing else matter. Or not Greg, sorry. Eric would start.
There's only 5 people, Brian. Get them straight.
Yeah, I know. My mind's all over the place.
I know. I'm just joking.
Greg would start playing nothing else matters.
No, Eric.
God damn it! Again, Greg plays drums. Eric plays guitar. Yes.
We're sorry, Eric.
And Greg.
We haven't even mentioned Jordan yet, have we?
God damn it. Yes. No, we have. But also, god damn it. Sorry, Jordan.
We were there for Jerry.
Yes. But like then he start riffing Nothing Else Matters, and everybody instantly in the band, boo, like so awesome. And then Matt's like, we should do dancing, and he like I can't remember what song he threw out, and it's like Eric is like, I don't think I know that. I think this is how it goes. Jerry's in the back.
Jerry's talking to us.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know that. I can get that. And then he jumps on stage and starts playing it. And then Matt's just on the ground belting out the lyrics.
Yeah.
Fucking so awesome that they're just sitting there having a good time together, joking with each other. There were inside jokes, obviously, and like somebody would say something, they all start laughing. It was so awesome to see and experience that. I'm so happy we got to do it.
Yeah, I was a little nervous going into it because, like, yeah, we did say, hey, Jerry, we'll come help you sort of thing. And part of me was like, I don't want to be in their way. I don't know how you felt.
No, 100%. I didn't want to be in their way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to feel like, hey, here's this random guy wanting to be a roadie.
We're here with our friend. We want to spend time with our friend.
Like, now I can say I know the band. Like, I don't want to be that person, right?
Yeah.
It was more of, I want to help Jerry, but at the same time, if I was on the stage, like, where's this chord go? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, obviously that's going to be in the way, and I don't want to be in the way. I don't want to hinder them at all.
Yeah. So part of me, when, like, we said, hey, we'll come see you or whatever, it's like, I didn't want to overstep or, I don't even know another way to say it besides be in their way of putting stuff together. And, you know, like, I didn't want Jerry or Darla to be like, oh, well, we have a lot of shit we got to get done, but you're here, so we feel like we have to entertain you, that sort of thing. So I didn't want that to happen. But throughout the whole, I don't feel like that happened. Hopefully, I mean, the whole band didn't seem like that happened. They were joking with you, like Jerry was joking, like you were carrying a box back, and I think Eric or somebody was trying to give you something. They're like, hey, that's my man or whatever. And I don't know. I don't feel like we were in the way.
I definitely had those feelings too, walking up, of being like, A, don't want to impose on Jerry and Darla being like, we're here to see you. Now
Yeah.
entertain us.
Yeah.
Like, no. We're here to support you. You do what you need to do. If we need to fuck off, just say fuck off and we'll be gone.
Yeah, we'll go back to our hotel and we'll come back at 8 o'clock.
Same with the other band members. Like, if I'm in their way, and that was the other fear too. Like, Jerry's gonna be like, "Oh no, you're fine. It's cool." Like, super nice guy. But the other fear in the band, like the other band members being like, "What the fuck is this asshole doing here?
Yeah.
Get rid of him. Like, he's just in the way." And I didn't want to be that guy either.
I guess that was the other part that I was trying to say is like, we know Jerry and Darla, but we don't know anybody else in the band. So I didn't want them, just what you said, I don't want them to think, oh, there's some random ass guys here to be in the way, or this couple's just being in the way and they're bugging Jerry and we need Jerry to do this thing or whatever.
Yeah, so that was definitely a fear of mine as well. And I did not get a vibe of I'm pissing anybody off while I was helping out. They were all seemed super nice. So, I mean, on
the drive home, they were probably like,
oh, yeah,
damn it.
100% on the drive home. Like, who the fuck is this asshole? Never again.
Yeah. We're not inviting him ever again.
But, like, even at this point, I was going to say by the end of the night, but no, even at this point, everybody super nice, super chill, just amazing people all around. Like, super welcoming, just having a great time amongst themselves. And I don't know, it was great to see that from this side of the stage. You know, not being in a band and seeing it all from the early stages of a show. Granted, this definitely isn't like fucking Rammstein where they're showing up 3 days before.
Fuck no, but
like,
now we understand why they had to show up 3 days before to
yeah.
put together this shit.
So, I mean, this was a great experience. I loved it. And we'll talk more at the end of the show, like the experience there. But like up to this point, it was a blast. I enjoyed doing it so much. Like I said, I've always from a distance loved watching the roadies work and seeing what they do. Like I said, organized chaos. And this little experience, yes, it is. And not saying that like, hey, I'm a fucking roadie now. I'm not at all. Like, this one experience, I can if you need help moving, give me a call. I can do that. That's all this proves is I can carry a box from A to B. That's it.
You're not taking application, or you're not handing out your application to join a band?
No, because as soon as like the cord dies, what do? I'm lost. I'm like, did you try plugging it in? Like that's
Did you go to Best Buy and get a new one?
But even then, I'm gonna get the wrong cord. And it's gonna be like a cord for like a goddamn electric violin or something. Like, no, this isn't what we need. So yeah, that was pre-show roadie experience. Let's get into the venue a little bit before we get into the actual show. We have so far gotten into the venue a little bit, but what were your thoughts?
So I knew it was a bar, and I'm not a very big bar person. So I was a little, not standoffish, that's the wrong word, but I was just like, I don't know what the vibe's going to be, and I didn't know what to expect at all. Granted, we had just been to one of these bar venues here in Chicago, so I kind of had that thought in my mind, but this was totally different because the bar is like downstairs, or well, the main bar is downstairs.
Yeah, the main bar is downstairs. The venue was like on the second floor.
Yeah.
And so like they had a back patio also that had stairs going up, but that was like the back door for
right.
the venue.
That was closed for the venue or for the performance and everything. Well, should have been closed for the performance.
Which is where we're bringing the shit into, and I think we hung out in the patio a little bit, and a couple band members tried to get up and get in that door. Like, no, you have to go around to the front.
Yeah.
Because they locked it by that time because the door opened.
Yeah, the doors were open, so they locked that back patio or the back door. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, we use that later on in the evening, but for the time that the show's on, you have to go through the front door. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like, the whole walls are filled with stickers of probably bands and just random people that have been there. There's concert posters from bands that have played there that, like, Einstein Kills, who we just saw with Metallica, had played there back in 2019, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Gosh, I should have wrote down all the other bands.
Some were signed, some weren't.
Yeah, like Darla said she saw like a Nirvana poster.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, but did you see it?
I didn't see that either. I didn't know if she saw a poster or if it was. I don't know if she saw a poster or if it was she had done research ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
That Nirvana had played, but yeah, like I heard through you through Jerry. Like there's some comment I heard. I think from all four of you at one point, like Nirvana played here, or one, I don't know, whatever. But that's fucking awesome, right? Like we were saying, this is a really old place. I think they've been around 40, 50 years.
Gabe's?
Yeah.
Let me.
I want to say 73. Or maybe it was, I want to say 73.
How'd you find that?
It was like on a poster I saw in the venue where it was like Gabe's 73 to 2003 celebration, like happy 30th anniversary or something like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, because it's not on their website.
So I don't know when they started, but they've been around for fucking ever. Longer than I thought they'd been around for. But yeah, same thing. Same thoughts you had. It was a bar. It seemed sort of like a dive-ish bar.
Yeah.
A bar I would really enjoy hanging out in.
They had like a pool table and normal bar things like downstairs. And
Yep. They had the Iowa Hawkeyes football team was now playing. And they had the TVs on in the bar. It looked like they had started turning the TV on in the patio for it, but forgot to actually find the game, so that was just like the screensaver.
It was, yeah.
But the sound was on over the PA system for the game. Even the TVs in the bar were 10 seconds off of the audio. So the audio was like, and they're on the 24 line. And it's like, but they haven't even snapped the ball yet. They're still in the huddle. And so it was kind of funny, like, oh, I know what this play is going to be. But yeah, even up in the bar, like I said earlier, there were...
Up in the venue?
Yes, up in the venue, on top of the bar. There were tables on the side, and the chairs, by the time we got up there, were down, and people were sitting and hanging out the tables.
Yeah.
Which was kind of weird to have tables in the middle of a concert floor, I thought. I don't know what your thoughts on that were.
No, I thought that was weird too, but they probably use that venue for more than just concerts. So.
Yeah, and it seemed like they were attached to the wall, so it's not one of those things you can just pick the tables up and move.
Yeah. Well, because they had like the standing bar or standing
they did have a ledge,
along both sides. So like where you can like if you're standing, you can put a drink there or whatever.
And coat hooks on it.
Yep. So then the tables were hooked to that. So yeah, you can't really like move that. You can move the chairs, but you couldn't move the tables.
And then a bar straight behind the stage. So center stage, you look straight back. There's a bar. Before you get to the bar, there's like this little hallway which has the bathrooms on one side. If you're walking to it, it'd be on your right side. On your left side is where merch was set up. So it's really cool that they had like a little merch section that the bands could set up at.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then right when you got past that was the sound engineer. And like I said, she was... So when we were doing like the whole setup early on, and they were getting all their stuff set up, the other bands start to show up as well, right? And she's back running around all over the place. Like, all right, you're telling each band, like, set your stuff up here for now. Once we get on stage, we're going to have all you set your stuff up here, have this band set their stuff up here, doing this, blah, 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 blah. So she's managing all three bands, and we're just sitting here trying to like manage our own shit.
Well, we're not doing nothing.
At this point, we're not doing nothing, right? And that's
you said we're managing our own shit, and I'm like, you and I are doing nothing.
I see what you're saying, right? Yes, exactly.
We aren't part of the band.
But once I found out like she was a sound engineer, I did find that kind of weird that the venue provided the sound engineer. I always assumed the band provided their own because it's like the band knows what they want, but I guess not so much. The venue knows their own equipment, their own setup,
and the acoustics and everything.
And their acoustics, right? Yeah.
Which, to that point, I don't know if every venue does that, but if they do, the venues that have fucking shitty sound need to fire their sound engineer then and get another person.
If they're managing their own.
If they're doing their own. Like, if that's a common thing, which maybe it is, maybe somebody could tell us, like, if that's common or not. But if that's the case, like, we've been to a lot of fucking shitty concerts this year just because the sound sucks. A few shitty concerts because the sound sucks. Like,
And it could be that they just got picked. Like, they're short staffed, right? Like, you get up there and just learn how to do it by ear.
possibly.
And I don't know. I mean, I did think the sound here was phenomenal. It was great. I didn't have any issues whatsoever.
No. So, I mean, granted, it could be that the band does it for other
Could be
concerts or other venues or whatever, like, especially if you have like a elaborate soundboard or whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's the case that the venue's doing it, which makes sense because even when we saw Bloodywood and A Killer's Confession in a small bar, like, it sounded great for a small bar.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe these smaller venues do have their own soundboard and they do it all, or they do it.
Yeah.
And they know how to do it for their venue versus like an arena. Like, maybe each band has their own sound.
That, and we also
that.
talked about the difference between a small bar versus a giant arena, right? Like, you can probably make a small bar sound a lot better than a wide open space. But I don't know. We don't know that aspect. That would be a cool thing to be a roadie for a day as a sound engineer type thing. Which no. Because I would fuck that shit up. There's so much that goes into that. I took a look at her board.
I saw you take a picture of it.
So many knobs on that thing. I don't know what any of them do. Like, I that's definitely something that's sort of envious to like look at and be like, this is amazing. Fuck, where
I don't know.
where were we before that?
I don't know. I think we're just talking about the venue.
The venue. I mean, yeah, it was small, larger than Beat Kitchen, but not by much.
No, not by much.
I did look for a occupancy sign, and by look I mean I spent 30 seconds where I was standing scouring, and then I gave up and never looked again. But I was curious to see what was listed. We can probably look it up on like a state website or something. I don't know. But anywho,
I'm not going to do that.
No, it's not worth it. Small place, super cool. They had like fiber along the top of the walls.
Oh, yeah.
Or ceiling.
Yeah.
That would like.
Well, yeah, because they had like no ceiling tiles, but to cover the cords and everything, they had fiber.
Which was really cool because it would like light up and like shine down like twinkling stars.
Yeah.
Super cool. But yeah, that was the venue. Really cool, very intimate. As we'll find, the sound perfect all night long. So I guess let's get into that then. The bands. Rehtek. What'd you think?
I liked them a lot.
I thought they were great.
So we don't know much about these bands, but they're a young band from Des Moines. Like all the bands are from Des Moines.
I think so, yeah.
Central Iowa. And gosh, I don't remember. Was there 5 people also? 2 guitars,
4 or 5. Yep.
Okay. So 5 people as well. I don't know how they did it because, like we said, Jerry's band or like Thrash of the Titans had all their shit up on the stage, and they had to put all their shit up on the stage. And I mean, it had to be so cramped, but they did it. They were phenomenal. I mean, they weren't able to move around much, but
yeah. Like you said, they had to put all their shit on stage, but not only them, WonkZilla'z was the next opener after them, and they had their shit on first before them.
I don't think all the drum kits were up there though.
Oh, maybe.
We didn't watch because you ended up talking to that other guy, but we didn't end up watching them. But I don't think their drum kit was up there.
Maybe not. Okay.
Yeah.
There was still a lot of shit on that stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very cramped stage that had much room to move, but god damn, they had some energy.
Yeah. And the singer does, I don't know. I like singers like this where he can melodically sing, but then he also can like do the growls. And I don't know. There's something about that I really get into, like the music, that kind of music. They sounded phenomenal. Like we've been to some where like the openers kind of do their own thing. What I mean, they do their own thing. Like the guitarist plays their part, the bass plays their part, the drum plays their part, and it doesn't really come together.
Everybody's just up there playing their own music. It sounds just like a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
It's not like a cohesive sound.
Right. And this was, phenomenal. Like their sound was phenomenal. One little complaint that I had was their ending of their songs is just blunt. Like we're done playing. And I mean, granted, we don't know their music, so maybe, if we knew their music more, it would make more sense. But it was even like they would stop, and then the crowd would like cheer and scream and stuff. And it wasn't like people knew that they were ending. Like there's no drown out of the guitar, or like sometimes songs like they're done, but like the guitar will just
it's
like
the fade out.
The fade out, yeah. They didn't do any of that. It was just like, we're done.
See, and I've known people who are absolutely opposed to the fade out.
Oh, really?
They hate the fade out because it's like, just end your song.
I can see both sides. I'm saying that was my only little teeny tiny complaint, if I even had one, and it's really not a complaint.
At that point, it's like nitpicking at bullshit.
Exactly. It's like there's nothing to complain about. So It's like I feel like sometimes when we talk, like all we do is complain about the band, and we're like, God damn, like they sucked. Like the sounds was horrible. Their, the guitarist was doing their own thing. Like all this stuff, and I can't even do that with Rehtek. Like,
right.
I really liked them.
And yeah, no, I agree. The sound was awesome. The energy of the band I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, and we didn't sit there to see them set up also. Like once Jerry got his stuff set up and we were free to go, we went and got dinner. I did notice
we were free to go.
I was free to go. My contract was over. I did notice like all the people bringing up their drum kits and whatnot were these young kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was one shock to me when they took the stage. I was like, you look nothing like the people bringing the drum kit up. I expect you to be like 12, and like these were some older gentlemen. And
yeah.
Well,
I think the kids that were helping them were just helping them.
I think so too. Yeah. But it was awesome. The set was awesome. I liked the music. If I had to pick out one of their songs, like if you just play me a song, I wouldn't be able to do it today.
Oh no.
But it's definitely a band I would definitely check out again.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah. I know you're excited for the second, or you were excited for the second one.
Yeah, so WonkZilla'z Zombie Experience. This is a band that is a
band?
Yeah, a band. That's a tribute band to Rob Zombie. And that includes White Zombie, Rob Zombie, all that fun shit.
Can I have a confession?
What's that?
I didn't realize White Zombie and Rob Zombie were like the same.
Really?
I didn't until this night.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
I always thought it was like two different.
It's two different bands. Rob Zombie was in White Zombie.
Yeah, I got that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I honestly didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
I always thought it was two separate entities. No correlation.
Even though they sound a lot alike and...
Yeah, I didn't put those two together.
Gotcha. No, and even when you go to see a Rob Zombie show, you hear some White Zombie, like his old stuff as well.
Yeah.
I was excited about this. I really like Rob Zombie a lot, and therefore White Zombie as well.
And it's October.
And it's fucking October. Like, it's spooky month, and spooky month is like typo negative, Rob Zombie, doom metal. I say doom metal because I don't know a whole lot of other doom metal. Opeth could be in there as well. Some progressive death metal, whatever the fuck you want to classify them. That tribal bullshit we found.
Oh, yeah.
That's fucking going on.
On Halloween while we eat candy.
Yeah, 100%. And then...
really loud and make the neighbors think that we're having like a ritual.
And then scary fucking movies. And Rob Zombie makes scary fucking movies, right? So... yeah, it's the perfect time of year to see this kind of music. All year is good time to see this music. But WonkZilla, they come out dressed as you would expect. The lead singer looks like a Rob Zombie, right? They got the dreadlocks, got their long beard, wearing the cowboy hat. But then you have, I want to say, the bassist was dressed as the clown.
Yeah, the clown
From like House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the guitar player, what he was dressed as.
He had a red coat with a white face.
But anywho, they're like spooky looking motherfuckers, right? The light is all black light for most of the show. So you like, to me, once again, Halloween is like haunted houses with, and Rob Zombie too, by extension, haunted houses with black lights going on, which also reminds me of old Spencer Gifts, where it's dark with black lights on everything to make the neon like pop. And that's what was going on here. It was so fucking awesome to see. Like, I remember them setting up the stage and overhearing somebody talk to Jerry. I don't know who. I think it was a member of his band. Come up and say something along the lines of, if they have a stage presence and they're not even on stage, like just all their props they were setting, they had these like lithograph like screen print things that were hanging up with like horror movie scenes. Their amps had like covers on them that looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like their amps looked sweet as fuck. And Jerry like even went up and like touched it, like, what's going on with your amp here? Like the stage setup, once again, the energy of the band, like I had so much fun watching these guys. I don't know about you.
No, I thought it was great. Like, even the energy, the sound, how they played their instruments. Like, if you didn't know you were at a tribute band, it sounded like you were listening to Rob Zombie. Like, I thought, anyways. Somebody else might be able to nitpick and be like, oh, no, this guitar sounded a little bit different, or this drum was off a little bit.
The vocals aren't 100% because it's not Rob Zombie.
I mean, I even thought he sounded like him.
I did too.
Like, I mean...
And even not, if he doesn't sound 100% like him, whatever.
Yeah, it's a tribute band. It's not Rob Zombie singing. Like, you paid $15. You didn't pay $90 to see Rob Zombie, so...
Yeah, and that's a very good point, right? You paid 15 fucking bucks to see this. And that's not to like belittle WonkZilla by any means, right? It's like, you paid 15 bucks. You be happy with what you get. It's not that at all.
No.
I paid 15 bucks for this. That's it.
That's what I thought, because I thought that it sounded amazing. Like, I think I even said, like, when we walked to the back, when Darla went back to the merch, and I was like, if I didn't know that I was, at Gabe's in Iowa City, I would have thought that I was listening to Rob Zombie.
Even if I could tell, even the slightest bit difference between WonkZilla and Rob Zombie. I think I mentioned this to you. Rob Zombie comes to town, in quotes, right? Comes to town. He plays at Tinley Park. At least he has last time. And that maybe the time before. I don't know. But he plays at Tinley Park. And we've talked about that venue. We fucking hate Tinley Park with a passion. To the point where if a band's coming to Tinley Park, we'll look in goddamn Milwaukee.
Yeah.
To see if they're going to be there at a real goddamn venue.
We'll fly to Denver to see a show.
Right.
Before we go to Tinley Park.
So, like, and I want to be like, that's not to belittle Tinley Park. But it is, right? I get, especially for people living in the burbs, why Tinley Park is better than Chicago. I understand that.
Yeah.
At the same time, as somebody who lives in Chicago, God damn it, fucking come to Chicago. We have venues here, large ones.
That are better.
Yes. So, God damn it. Even goddamn fucking, not Arlington Heights, Rosemont is a better venue than fucking Tinley Park. All that to say, I think that's like my new catchphrase. All that to say, I say that a lot. I've realized this last couple episodes.
Any hoodles.
Any hoodles. That's another one. Any hoodles. All that to say, any hoodles. If Rob Zombie came to Tinley Park in the same goddamn day WonkZilla'z in town, I'm going to see WonkZilla.
Oh, me too.
100 times over.
Before going out to Tinley Park?
Now, if Rob Zombie's here in the city, sorry WonkZilla, I'm going to see Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
But I'm just as happy to fucking see WonkZilla than I am to see Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
Even if Rob Zombie's not in town, WonkZilla'z in town. Let's go fucking check out WonkZilla.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a kick-ass name to say, WonkZilla. And also, great fucking performance, guys. Like, that shit kicked ass. I had
Yeah.
such a great time.
I was 100% happy with it. Like, and I don't know. I mean, I know Rob Zombie songs, but you know, like there's only a few of the handful that we listen to a lot.
I welcome. I guess one complaint I would have was a lot of old school Zombie.
But I think that was the whole point.
I think so too, but at the same
Yeah.
time, Dead City Radio is fucking awesome. I love that.
I think that's
We're all
the
fucking
thing.
in a UFO. Like, I agree. There was a point where Rob Zombie dipped off, but like those two tracks, newer, those are two of my favorites. And I would love to see them.
I think that's the thing is like I know the newer stuff, and I think that's why I didn't make the connection of White Zombie and Rob Zombie. But, yeah, I mean, very, very phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I can't even nitpick anything. I can't even say that, like with Rehtek, I was like, oh, any other songs were a little off.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even find anything to nitpick.
Yeah. I mean, so we're going into this, right? Rehtek, WonkZilla, and we're already like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is before seeing
We definitely got our money's worth already, like just with Rehtek.
the only fucking reason we came was for Jerry. And I had no idea there was an opener. I didn't assume there was openers at all.
Yeah. I knew WonkZilla was going to be there because I knew that it was like a zombie.
Oh, right. You
White
told
Zombie,
me that.
or
Yeah.
Rob Zombie tribute. I didn't know Rehtek was going to be there. That was a surprise to me. So I didn't know.
Before we get into Thrash of the Titans and Jerry, and
Oh, so it's not Jerry's band?
it's not Jerry's band, it's Thrash of the Titans.
No, I know. We're sorry to all the other band members that we call it Jerry's band.
Well, we used to. I don't know if we will anymore.
Yeah, we'll say Thrash of the Titans going forward.
Yeah. Before we get into that, there's two things I want to cover real quick. One thing I noticed in between Rehtek and WonkZilla, I think you briefly mentioned earlier about me talking to some guy while they're setting up. Happens from time to time at a show, right? The guy we were talking to, I can't remember his name, but he's in another band also from Iowa. I think it's Saint October.
Saint October, yeah.
Which I was like, oh, well, it's October. I'm going to say October. I thought that was the name, October.
You thought it was Say October.
But no, it's like Saint, as in like saint, like God, like whatever, right? I was like, oh, but then he described it. He's like, it's typo negative, doom metal. Still fucking fits well with Saint October, like October theme, right? Doom metal, like that's October. Turns out this band, Saint October, is opening for Wednesday 13 in Chicago.
In West Chicago.
In West Chicago, yes.
Yes.
Still Chicago. More Chicago than Rosemont, right? Like it's actually Chicago?
No.
Oh, so it's like a West Burb.
It's a suburb. I think it's south of Chicago.
Wait, is the name actually West Chicago?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like they're in West Chicago, as in like the west side of Chicago.
No, like West Chicago, Illinois.
Gotcha.
I said Illinois.
Illinois. It's Illinois, not Des Moines.
So, oh no, it's way west. It's west past Donners Grove. I don't even know where this is.
Oh, but Donners Grove's like way the fuck out there.
Wheaton. Carroll Street.
Oh, Wheaton. Wheaton's where we rode in from.
Yeah, the first time we ever came to Chicago. Yeah, it's a long. It's past Naperville. It's way out there.
Okay. Anywho, Doles.
Any hoodles.
Still, Wednesday 13 is a pretty fucking big band.
Yeah.
So like the small ass band from Chicago is opening for them. Is the
From
first
Des Moines.
Des Moines, yeah.
Yeah, not Chicago.
God damn it, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, this small band from Des Moines opening for Wednesday 13. We've seen him live. He puts on a fucking awesome show. It's Halloween. This would be fucking amazing to see. Only problem is it's the same night as Trivium.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, we already have tickets to Trivium.
And it's over an hour to get there.
Is it?
Hour and 13 minutes.
I still kind of really want to. I would, if we had nothing going on, I would still petition hard to go to that show. I think.
Yeah.
It
We would probably make it work.
sounds like a lot of fun. But that's what I want to talk about. The first thing is, here's this other band from Chicago.
From Des Moines.
God damn it. Here's this other band from Des Moines coming to check out other bands. And they're sitting around, all the members, chatting with each other, having a good time. They all know who each other are. Like, Eric came up to Jerry and was like, did you see who was here? That's so-and-so from St. October. And same thing after WonkZilla got off. They stuck around and listened. Like, it's such a small knit community.
Yeah.
This like these, I don't want to say small bands, but like these, and maybe it I won't say trickle up either, but maybe it's always this way in all of music. Is
maybe. Yeah.
These bands know each other. They're always on tour together. They're always going to see each other, supporting each other. Like, it was so awesome to see and experience that, and just be like, experience it, quotes again, from the outside of just like overhearing people talk and like the respect they all have for each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fucking awesome.
Well, the singer for Rehtek was by us during WonkZilla, and then I saw him a little bit again during Thrash of the Titans. So. And
they're all at their own merch tables, selling their own, their own merch, and still sitting there and enjoying the show and having a good time themselves. Like, it made me smile to think about that bands aren't just cynical. Like, they suck. They don't sound like I want them to sound. Like, it's.
Yeah, I was kind of not worried about that, but Rehtek is a younger band. And then both, it seemed like WonkZilla and Thrash of the Titans are older men, established, that are still playing music because that's what they love to do. And I was kind of, I don't know these guys. I don't know if they all know each other. I don't know. But like, I was kind of like, oh, is Rehtek going to be like, oh, we should be the headliners, not these old men, or, like that sort of thing, which obviously they didn't. But I kind of had that thought when we were all standing there before, like when Thrash of the Titans was doing their sound check, and like everybody else was just standing there waiting, putting their, I almost said shit together, putting their drum kits together. Like, I kind of had that thought of like, are they gonna, like, what do they think being the opener for Thrash of the Titans? Like,
Yeah, I had that same thought of like, oh, we have to open for these guys for real. We're better than them, but no.
Yeah.
And still, I saw Jordan carrying drum pieces up for the other bands. Like, he's not in your band, and he's still helping you carry your shit up. Like, these guys are fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like,
it is a big community. So, and it's something that we haven't been able to see because we've never been on the front side of it like that. So, like you said, like, it's probably happening everywhere. We just don't.
You just don't see it. And you see bands come up and they're like, thanks so-and-so is the opener. Thanks the head, like, they're not the headliner. Thank the headliner for having us. The headliner comes out, what'd you guys think of these openers? I always viewed that as free applause. Right?
Yeah.
It's, if you're not here to see me, you're here to see them, and you're just going to cheer them on because you love them. So, like, I always viewed that as, and it's same thing as, welcome to, hey, Chicago, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like, free applause. You know you're getting applause when you do that shit. But maybe not. Maybe it really is genuine. Like, give it up for these guys.
Yeah, like, thank you for having us on your tour. Yeah.
Thank you for being on my tour.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the stage with me tonight and giving everything you have to the crowd. Because that's what another commonality between all of them is. They just want to put on the greatest show that they can at that moment.
Yeah.
And
I guess I had a not sour taste, but like always thought that bands were like, we're better than them. We should, obviously there's tiffs in bands, but I remember going to open air and it was Marilyn Manson and Five Finger, and Marilyn Manson was just shit. Like, he was so pissed and probably drunk or whatever, but
his set definitely
was affected.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was the third. He was on the headlining stage, but he was the third I don't even know how to say that. The third from the top.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
Yeah, I don't know how that works at festivals, but
they're not the third opener because that would be like, to me, that's the bottom.
yeah,
third from
yeah,
bottom.
yeah. But they're third from the top. I don't know how many people were before. But it went Marilyn Manson, Five Finger, and then not sure who the.
Was it Slipknot?
It might have been
because
was that Sunday?
Manson was on the same tour as Slipknot at the time.
Yeah, so it would have been Marilyn, Five Finger, and then Slipknot. And like Marilyn Manson's set was affected by whatever had happened. And then Five Finger comes out and the singer's like, "Oh well, we got the better set time. Like our lawyers are better,
yes.
Sort of thing." So I always had this assumption that bands just don't like each other, and maybe there are I know that there are tests between bands, but like I just always had this assumption of like, everybody thinks that they're the best and that they should have the best set times and the best or the longest set and like all this stuff. And what we saw on Saturday night was not like that.
No, and it's really, when you're saying all that, I thought about it. It's like, it's really like any job, right? You're at a job with 100 employees. You get along with 98 of the employees, right?
Oh, I get along with 2.
All right. But still, right?
I know what you mean.
And even though you get along with 98 of them, 5 of them are your closest friends.
Yeah.
Then the other 93, you're like, they're cool. But the 2 that are left over, fuck them. They're the worst people ever. I can see it being like that. So
yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah.
But I'm always shocked when I go to these industries like this. And I went to like a few beer events and like helped set up during that. And it was the same thing there of like the other brewers. I'm struggling to make this type of beer. I keep doing it and it comes off wrong. Oh, well, did you try this? Says a different brewery, a head brewer at a different brewery. And I was always shocked, like, that's your competition. Why are you helping them? Same thing with music. Like, that's your competition. Why are you helping them? But it's not. I think it's the same thing in the brewery industry as it is in music. They're not my competition. I'm helping them improve, who will then help me improve, which will then improve the community, which will then, it's like a cyclical cycle. And it's just so humbling and amazing to see that as a whole. So that was the one thing I wanted to talk about. The second tangent.
Oh my gosh.
The second tangent is I didn't think we'd have enough to cover for this podcast, for this particular episode.
Seriously?
No, I did not.
We've been recording for an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah. I didn't think.
What did you think we were going to talk about?
I thought it would be like 10 minutes about the show, and then the bulk of the show would be about this. Covers. And how awesome I think covers are, and how I love covers. But we had a conversation early in the evening that what's the difference between a cover band and a tribute band, right? And what was laid out is like covers are down here, then you have tributes that are slightly better, that they're not just covering. I guess I get that argument, but another part of me is it's still just a cover of a song, but I guess a cover is tweaked a little differently.
I think it was actually explained that cover bands do like one-hit wonders from, not one-hit wonders, that's wrong, but like the most popular song from multiple bands, where a tribute band is actually like getting into the soul of the music and like playing the music the way that the band would. That's how it was explained.
Maybe. I mean, I get that.
How did you think it was?
I get that argument. I do.
Okay. I mean, everybody could have their own definition as well.
No, 100%. 100%. Disturbed does a cover on every album they do, except for this new one apparently doesn't have a cover.
No, but they're not a cover band.
But still, who cares? It's a cover. Metallica did
a cover... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and Metallica also did a whole cover album where it's taking the song and making it your own. I get that. I guess I buy that argument. It's taking a song and making it your own, or tweaking it a little bit to sound a little bit different. Where what you were saying, that a tribute band isn't tweaking the song. They want to stay as authentic to the original band as you can.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll buy that. So they are different. I even coming into this podcast, I was like, they're the same thing. But no, I'll buy that argument 100%. Yeah, so Thrash of the Titans then is a definitely tribute band.
Yes.
Not a cover band, tribute band. I get the difference now. 100% I get it. And without doubt, they are a tribute band to the Big Four. Just like WonkZilla'z is a tribute band to Rob Zombie, Thrash of the Titans is a tribute band to the Big Four. We were standing back before the concert even started, standing back by the merch booth, talking with Darla, and I wanted to go up to the stage. I wanted to get a picture because, like you said, it was cramped as fuck up there. So I just wanted to get a picture of the stage and how full it was with all this shit on it. So yeah, I wanted to get a picture of all that and just see how cramped it was and where like it filled up quick with all the equipment from all the bands up there, or most of the bands, right? We don't know if all the drum kits were up there or not, but still, like, awesome to see. I just wanted to get a picture of that. And while I'm doing that, Eric walks up and just starts talking to me. And we start talking about, I honestly don't know how the fuck we got talking about it, but eventually we started talking about how, yeah, they're a tribute band. They want to come out here, and Eric's like, we want to give these people a show. The people who haven't seen the Big Four in the 80s in that club feel that they had seen. And I was like, yeah, that's really right, because we're not fucking seeing Slayer again. They're retired. They're not coming back unless they do, like, we're doing a reunion tour.
Their farewell 5 fucking years long tour.
5 years later, our final tour. Like, they'll
do it again.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think
they already did like a farewell tour like many years ago, and then they did another one.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they just did one. Yeah.
I know they just did one.
Yeah. People were joking about that they just did one, and then they did another one. So
I don't know. I don't see them. Maybe I'm wrong. I was gonna say I don't see them being like Motley Crue, coming back every 5 years to do tour, but maybe they will.
I don't know. I'm just going off of what other people have said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But still, then if that's the case, if they don't come back again, the best way you're going to see this music is at like a tribute show like this.
But what about Anthrax?
So you do have Anthrax still playing. You do have Iron Maiden. No, sorry. God damn it. I did that again. You do have Megadeth. You do have Metallica still playing, still touring. Eventually they'll retire. And the only way you'll see stuff like this is in a setting like, see songs like this is in a setting like this, right? So yeah, that was my thought when we, sitting there talking to Eric. It's like, I've never looked at it in that light of giving back and giving the kids and giving people who haven't experienced this something to experience. Like, we've never experienced it. We're never going to see Metallica in that small of a venue again.
Unless we make it to the Metro next time they go to the Metro.
They came, yeah, they're 2 secret shows at the Metro and someplace in San Fran, right? Where that was like a small intimate show, but that's not likely to happen again. Or if it is, very, very unlikely that we make it. So I'm not saying these guys are Anthrax. Like, there's no substitution for Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer. There's no substitution. They are who they are. They play their music. They're fucking awesome. They're amazing. If you get to see them, go fucking see them. However, as a tribute band, I did feel like they brought it when they came out on stage, and they fucking killed it when they did.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Okay. And they came out and they started playing Anthrax tracks.
Yeah. And I'm not very familiar with Anthrax music.
Honestly, I'm not either. I do understand they are the Big Four. They're in the Big Four. I do believe they've earned that spot. However, of the Big Four, they're definitely my least favorite.
Least listen to.
Least that's a better way to put
Yeah.
it. Least listened to, yes.
Yeah.
I do like their music. I do. And I've listened to it and I enjoy it, but it's not one of the things I listen to that often.
Yeah. Like so they played 4 songs of Anthrax, is that right?
So yeah, and we also knew that because we talked to we don't like knowing the set list before going into it because we like to experience it. But you also mentioned this a few weeks ago. You're like I remember this conversation. You're like, they probably play about 4 songs from each band. And I was like, no fucking way they do that. That's a lot of songs. That's math, 16 songs. Not many headliners at actual shows play 16 songs. If they do, it's low double digits. That's pretty high double digits, I think. Also, this tribute band clearly gravitates towards the thrash, the early 80s to mid 80s music. Megadeth, you can go later because I don't think they ever really changed their sound. They've always been thrash and always been that way. So you get 80s to fucking today. And those songs are long back then, right? Like you're looking at 5 to 8 minute length songs.
Oh yeah, at least.
So if you play 4 from every song, 4 from every band, you're looking at what, like a 2-hour set?
Yeah.
There's no way they're putting on a 2-hour set with fucking openers. But it turns out I may have been wrong.
Maybe.
Because they played what?
They played 4 from Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer, and then 5 from Metallica.
4.5 to 5, yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah. So it was an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
An hour and 55 minutes.
2-hour set. Yeah. So you were right. They played 4 from every song. This conversation we had like a few weeks ago.
I assume they would, because otherwise, like, what do you do? Play one Anthrax, one, like, you kind of have to make it even some way.
You have to, right?
And you can't just do 3 songs because they have so many great songs. It's like,
and Matt brought that up too, right? He's like, there's so many during the Megadeth set. Like, there's so many good songs from all these bands. How the fuck do you do it? I'll tell you how. A goddamn medley. And that's what they did for Megadeth. They just did like a little bit of a medley there for all their songs, for a few songs, and it flowed really well. But yeah, you were right. It was 4 songs, 2 hours long, and they kicked it off with fucking Anthrax. And then from that, they went into Megadeth.
Megadeth, yeah. And I don't know how they figured that out, like how they were going to go from Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, and then Metallica. But yeah, I think it flowed really well between even the bands. And obviously they weren't like, oh, these 4 from Anthrax, these 4 from Megadeth. Like, they did have kind of, like Matt had comments to say or whatever. And then for Megadeth, he comes out with the mask. What's the...
I honestly don't know what their mascot is, but It's the same thing as Iron Maiden, right? Where they have a mascot for every album, and it's the same thing. The mascot is on all of the the tracks and whatnot. But yeah, he came out wearing that mask for Megadeth's mascot, wearing that, which was fucking awesome to see.
Yeah, I just counted. They actually did 5 Slayer songs too.
Did they really?
Yeah. I guess I miscounted when we were at the concert. So, but yeah.
And there was a bit of an intermission, right?
Oh yeah, between Megadeth and Slayer, they were like, "Hey, 5 minutes, we'll be back."
And then it was like, "We'll be back with Slayer songs."
Yeah. So there was that little transition between each one, but it wasn't like, "Okay, kids, we're gonna listen to some Anthrax now."
Definitely not for Anthrax to Megadeth, but after Megadeth, there was definitely a transition between Slayer and Metallica.
There was,
but not like you said. Like, okay, that was awesome. Anthrax kicked ass. Here's some Megadeth. That was awesome. What do you think of Megadeth? You would also like Slayer.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't that.
Yeah. Matt did a really good job of flowing it all together and not having it be like hard stop. We're done with Anthrax. Okay, now we're on to Megadeth. Like it. I mean, obviously after Megadeth and Slayer, they did do a break, but which makes sense because they were going hard.
They were fucking drenched
from all of it. Like, if you think about the bands playing these songs, like they might play 3 or 4 songs and then they all go to the back and maybe just the bassist is playing or just the guitarist is playing or whatever it is. I know Metallica does bass solos, but and then they come out with like new t-shirts on and ready to go for the next couple songs, 5 songs or 6 songs or whatever it is. So it's like even musicians that do this every single night have to take breaks. So
that's a good point too. The clothing, right, is bringing the shit in. They all had their own show clothes, like performance clothes. Another thing I didn't anticipate, right? I just assumed.
Well, Jared wore the same thing.
He wore a different shirt.
No, you had the Metallica shirt on.
Oh yeah. Jared did. Sorry.
Jared. Not Jerry.
I thought you said Gerald. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, Greg, the drummer, like had drumming shoes. I think they were just Vans, like the classic black and white checkered Vans. Jerry had a different shirt and crystal white fucking shoes on. It was, I don't know. Another thing, it's like I just assumed bands showed up with whatever they're wearing that day and just fucking jammed out with
whatever you have on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But then that was interesting, and Eric changed his shirt, I noticed, and Matt had his battle vest on, which was thrash metal bands.
Yeah, that was
all
really
up.
cool.
The fucking spikes on the shoulders. The shoulder pads were spikes.
Well, then he had the logo.
The Thrash of the Titans logo.
Yeah. Well, it's not the Thrash of the Titans logo, but he had like a back patch of Thrash of the Titans with a head of.
Which is like X and then a symbol for each one.
Yeah. That was so cool.
Fucking awesome. Guys, make a patch of that. Make a back patch of that. Whatever you want. Sell that at your merch. Yeah. That would fucking sell.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Oh, shit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was another thing you mentioned, like clothing and whatnot about that. And that was a unique thing. Like, I never thought about also like, oh, they do change their clothes. Huh. Weird.
Yeah. Well, so when Jerry came out or we were talking to him after he had changed and he had a Testament shirt on. And earlier in the day, Eric had a Testament shirt on. And then I was like, are you guys all going to
switch?
Well, no, like in my mind, I didn't say this to him, but in my mind, I'm like, are you all just going to wear Testament shirts? Like, is that your thing? Like, some bands have a thing that they wear. But no, Eric changed his shirt too. So they both didn't have Testament shirts on when they played. But
yeah, I mean, let's break it down like 2 sets, right? You had Anthrax, Megadeth. I thought that was awesome. So fucking cool. So fun. Like, wearing the mask. They had a flag they brought out also. The music was fucking phenomenal. The sound was awesome. The vocals were awesome. The crowd was so into it.
I was going to bring up the crowd. Yeah.
Go ahead. Talk about the crowd.
I don't know the specific songs that they like started moshing and stuff, but I mean, it's like these were young kids too. I mean,
so many had X's on the back of their hands.
Yeah, so
under 21.
There was only a couple that I saw with drinks, so I know that most of them are young kids. So just like any other concert, you have your like circle going, except for instead of having it in like the middle, it was right by the stage. And there's actually a video that Thrash of the Titans post, and like one of the kids just gets thrown into the stage. And I was
really?
I was like, ow, that would hurt. But
he's young. He's going to bounce back.
Exactly.
Didn't even fucking feel it.
Probably not. But like for these young kids who you think that this music is for older people or old guys. Like you've even told by family members, like, you're too young to listen to Metallica.
I have. We went to a Metallica show, and like my mom was like, Metallica? They were fucking playing music when I was a kid. What are you doing listening to them? Like, it's just like, yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see these young kids out having a great time.
100%, yeah. I loved also, like, to have them show up, like there were so many wearing Metallica, Slayer, like wearing the shirts, and like one girl was like dressed like she was going to a Metallica concert. Like she had her Metallica shirt, she had her boots, she had like
They're like fishnets and they're like
Yeah.
all that shit.
yeah, like, and then these young kids in these Slayer shirts and everything. I was just like, this is amazing that they're like showing up for this, first of all, and then also that they're going so hard during these songs. I don't know. I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I agree, and it was easy to tell early on that this was a fucking phenomenal crowd. This was going to be a blast to watch. The band was fucking amazing, and we talked about this before. It's like this cyclical energy of the crowd feeding off the band feeding off the crowd. Fuck, I mean, Eric jumped into the crowd and grabbed the rail in quotes.
No,
the stage.
This was Matt.
God damn it! Fuck, sorry guys. Matt jumping off the stage into the crowd,
Yeah.
grabbing onto the stage and just fucking
Like just headbanging
banging with the kids.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Like, and then they just gravitated to that, and they fed off him, and he fed off them, and the band up on stage playing, like everybody fed off each other, and it was so fucking awesome.
Yeah, there was a couple songs, like I know "Seek and Destroy" is one. There was another song where like basically it was like I mean, granted the crowd is right on the stage. There's no rail, there's no nothing, but like he would be like singing, and then he would like put the mic out to somebody for them to be like, "And destroy."
So many songs he did that.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, that was so much fun, and it is. It's like bringing the crowd into the performance, and then obviously Thrash of the Titans feeding off of that energy as well. Like, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It was phenomenal. It exceeded my expectations of what I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Or what the whole experience of the night would be.
And then they came out to the second set playing Slayer, and I don't remember when he jumped on the stage, did all that. Same thing. Like, it's all sort of a blur now, even though it was just a couple days ago. All sort of a blur, but so much fun. And Slayer, they killed that fucking shit too. Matt came out with the fucking cuff of spikes.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Like, so there was a I don't want to say gimmick, but like a prop or a stage setup for every single act.
Yeah.
Played Slayer fucking kicked ass. We already said it. Band kicked fucking ass. Crowd kicked fucking ass. Everybody's having a good time. And they come out to Metallica. They play Ecstasy of Gold leading up to Metallica.
I loved that because that's how Metallica comes out. So it was a perfect transition into Metallica.
Yeah. And so like up to this point, like I said, and it had happened a couple times. I just didn't pick up on it as much as I did here. But Yo-Yo, again, was off on the side, adding those special like sound effects, like playing that, as well as doing the smoke for all the other acts. Like, it clearly they've thought this through of how they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
and
like they didn't just get up there and jam like a garage band or whatever. Like they had a show and a performance to do for every single part of it.
And like you said, and like you've finally brought me to the same side you're on, is by doing that, playing Ecstasy of Gold, it's definitely tributing, right? This is the Metallica part of the evening. This is how Metallica starts. This is how we're starting our evening of Metallica.
Yeah.
Which I'll get into it now. And maybe now that I think about it, maybe it's not as big of a issue. And even then, like, if I had to give any complaint to Thrash of the Titans, it's they played all 4 songs of a band, or all 5 songs of a band, back to back to back to back. Once you understand that structure of how that performance is going to go, you get to Metallica and you realize, fuck, I have 4 more songs, and this night is over, which is a little disappointing to me. I don't want to, like, because now my mind is thinking, 4 more songs. What songs are they going to play? What songs are they going to play? There's only 4 songs. Jerry said earlier tonight they only play 4 songs from a band. They're coming out with Creeping Death. They're probably going to end on Master. That means there's 2 more songs. What are those songs? And in my head, I'm like trying to figure out what they are. And I know the next 2 songs are going to be Metallica, Master, right? Next 3 songs. My only complaint is I wish they would have mixed it up a little bit and done like Metallica, Anthrax, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Metallica. You know what I mean? Mix it up. That way it's harder to tell when the night's going to be over. This is a very, very small complaint in the structure of the show. But also, like I was saying, it is a tribute band. So this section of the night is a tribute to Metallica.
Yeah.
So
they're not a cover band where they're covering the top songs from
No, I get
bands.
it. I get it.
I 100% enjoyed how they did it. I mean, I don't care if they started with Metallica and ended with Anthrax.
Agreed.
I didn't care how they did it. I thought it was phenomenal and I liked how they did all Anthrax, all Megadeth, all Slayer, and all Metallica.
I enjoyed it. Like I'm saying is, it's the only small complaint for me, or the only thing if I had to pick a complaint was, I can then pick the structure of the show and realize and start getting disappointed in the middle of the show that it's over instead of, all right, that's it. Sorry guys, we got to go. And then being disappointed, right?
Oh, you couldn't see the Walmart clock on the wall that was telling the time?
I wasn't paying attention to that. I was paying attention to the band.
Oh, it was behind Jerry, so like whenever I look over at Jerry, I could see the clock, and I'm like, I remember at one point it was like 11:40 something. I'm like, holy shit, I'm still awake and it's 11:40.
But like I said, extremely, extremely small complaint, and it's only if I had to give a complaint. That was my only complaint. Otherwise, yeah, coming out to Ecstasy Gold and like, all right, this is the Metallica portion of the evening, and then coming out to Creeping Death.
Yeah.
Oh, so fucking awesome. But no, like Creeping Death is like one of my favorite songs of Metallica's if I hear it live. Because once again, I love that call and repeat energy, right? And you get to that bass, like boom, like, and then it's just the crowd chanting, die.
It took a little bit for the
die,
crowd to do that,
die.
I noticed, though.
I mean,
you and I were doing it.
We were. I think the older folks were doing it,
Yeah.
the young kids who may have never seen Metallica.
Yeah.
But once again, they don't know.
Yeah.
And it's
But then they got into it.
because of Thrash of the Titans and tribute bands and just seeing Metallica like that you now know, like Creeping Death is we're about to chant fucking die. We're yelling die at the goddamn stage.
Yeah.
That was awesome. What was the next song? I can't.
Then Jared did his bass solo, which I thought was a really good part.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I thought there was one song between that.
No, because that was for him the bell tolls.
Right after that, yeah. And then Seek and Destroy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that was a really, really good tribute to Metallica because I know them. I mean, there's a YouTube of you watching with Jason Newsted playing a bass solo, and I know Robert does a bass solo, like, or Roberto, however you want to say his name, Rob, whatever. So I thought that was a great, tribute to Metallica because I always attach a bass solo to Metallica because you don't really see that all the time.
You really don't see a bass solo, and this particular bass solo was, what was the name of the song?
It just says bass solo.
Oh, does it? Oh, it was Anesthesia from Kill 'Em All. And like that's why I call it like 4.5 tracks, right? Because it's an actual track on that album. It's Lars comes out, bass solo, take 1, and it's just Cliff fucking killing the bass. And then you have Lars coming with the drums at the end. And they did that exact same thing.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Which was fucking awesome.
I thought that was really cool too. That they I don't know. Like, they just did so good. Like, I mean, granted, we're talking so much about Metallica because we've seen Metallica multiple times in concert. So it's the concert that we can kind of compare the sets to.
And for me, obviously, Metallica, and maybe not obviously, but Metallica for me is my absolute favorite band.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, Jerry's, I would go with Megadeth. It's his absolute favorite band. And I think there's merits to like this band's better than this band. Like all four of these big four bands, anybody comes up to you and says, Anthrax is my favorite band. Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica is my favorite band. Anybody who says any of those bands, and any other band for honesty, right? If it's your favorite band, it's your fucking favorite band.
Yeah,
Enjoy
who
the
cares
music.
who it is? Yeah.
I would say, and you mentioned this earlier about who they picked to go first. If you ask me who the top in order the big four bands were, I would say Metallica's at top, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax. The exact same order as this.
Yeah, I think like they started with the bottom to the top.
But what I was trying to get to is you can rearrange that order in whatever fashion you want. Fucking Metallica could be on the bottom. And you could make a valid argument for why they should be on the bottom. I could honestly get behind any of those arguments. But yeah, Metallica is definitely my favorite, so I gravitate to this music a lot more. And Jordan fucking killing Anesthesia.
Yeah.
Like, fucking killed it. And once again, another one of those disappointments. I was like, fuck, Anesthesia's the song, is one of the four songs they're going to play. But then all at the same time, like, fuck, they're playing Anesthesia. Holy shit, good for you for doing this. Like, it was one of those mixed emotions of like, there's so many good songs to pick. And now there's not room for Battery.
Yeah, that was a little disappointment.
But we also talked early in the evening with Jerry. Like, so they've got one more show this year in Lincoln. By the time this is posted, that show will be long fucking gone. So sorry, folks.
Yeah, we're working on that.
we're really slow at editing. We can talk for hours, but not edit for hours.
That's why it takes so fucking long.
Yes.
Because we talk so long.
But then they're taking the winter off, and they're going to practice and start booking gigs for the next year. Sitting at dinner talking with Jerry, he said, we're looking to add more songs. Not only more songs, but even more bands.
Yeah.
They talked about adding Danzig to the rotation, right? So then it gets, are you going to play for 2.5 hours? Because now you have to add 30 minutes for Danzig?
Maybe they'll just do their own show and no openers and just play for 4 hours straight.
Maybe. That's a lot. These guys are older than us. And we'll get into it. Like, I slept for the next day and a half just moving their shit around. These guys are fucking, like, good for you. Like, I don't have that energy for some reason. But, or they drop one and it rotates, right? But part of that conversation was we're working on Battery. Like, we played Battery in the studio, but I can't remember who. Somebody was like, I'm messing up on this one part, or I'm not doing perfect here. I don't want to play this live. And that goes to the tributeness of the band, right?
Well, it goes to them as well, that they're like, they want to play it perfect. They want to, give it them their all and not just be like, sure.
It
like,
sounds good.
Yeah, it's
They'll
fine.
know what we're playing.
Yeah.
You're right. We're giving it our all, and we want it to sound fucking amazing. And if it doesn't sound perfect, if it doesn't sound like one of these bands, if it doesn't sound what it's supposed to sound like, we're just not doing it until we get to that point where it sounds perfect.
Right.
And not only perfect once, perfect the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth
they have to do it
time.
every weekend that they tour.
Right.
So it's not like, oh my gosh, we hit it this one time, let's put it on the set list. Like,
So it speaks volumes to the band who created this fucking music and how good that and how difficult it is, but also it speaks volumes to these guys of just being like, we're not going to half-ass it. We're going to go out there, give it our all, give it everything we got. So I mean, and that once again, Anesthesia, pulling teeth, like it. I'm a big fan of the bass solo, and old school Metallica is Cliff. Without Cliff, you don't have old school Metallica, and rest in peace, like a fucking god right there. And I think Jared did him justice. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was cool.
Then after that, it wasn't Seek and Destroy, was it?
No, it's
no, because
Bells.
it goes into the bass solo into Bells.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
And
go ahead.
no, I wasn't gonna say anything about Bells.
I was just gonna say, which was another fucking amazing. Like, as a Metallica fan, I should have seen that fucking coming, right?
Yeah,
like,
because it goes right into it.
The bass, like it starts with the bass, and it's like, of course it's gonna be that.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about it. I was just having a great time, enjoying myself, and not even. I was too worried about how many more songs do I get, not about in the moment.
I think I understand this. You want Thrash of the Titans to play a 4-hour set of just Metallica.
Not even that. I just don't want to know what's next.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to know, like, shit, Puppets is next. Now it's over after that. Like, I don't want to know when I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I just want to die. And that's what this is, oh shit, I have 4 more songs to live type thing, right? Like, in my head,
I
that's
get
what
you're
it
saying.
is.
Yeah.
Anywho, Belle's fucking awesome. Great pick to go next. And then, goddamn, Seek and fucking Destroy.
Of course, you gotta play that.
Oh, they didn't. Oh.
What?
No, it was so awesome.
I thought you were like so mad about it.
No, it's so great.
Like, that was one of my favorite memories of the night was Seek and Destroy and watching those kids. And like, there was one kid that, like, when Matt was like having him say like Destroy, like one kid just like pushed his friend up there, like,
yes,
you do this.
Yes.
Like, oh, it was so awesome.
And when you mentioned Matt earlier, like just going into the crowd, like it's your turn to sing the lyric. That's the moment I remember.
Yeah.
Is just like, and they fucking loved it. They ate it up. All those kids. Like, thank you. Like, this is the next generation of metalheads, right? Is these young kids coming out to this kind of shit and just, it's so happy to see.
Like, you have to see the younger kids because, I mean, obviously there's the normal mainstream music. We're not into it, but like, I feel like that's what everybody's into. So when you see, and we're saying young kids, these are college age kids, but they're 15 years younger than us at least. But to see them go so hard with this music, it's like amazing because it's like, we need you, or, you know, like metal needs you so that it can keep going after we're too fucking old to do it. Like, and then your kids can do it again. Or, you know, like, it just needs to keep building. So.
Yeah, and then obviously the last song, thanks to Stranger Things and just being a fucking amazing song. All 2 songs of it, Master of Puppets. fucking Master of Puppets.
Yeah, Master of Puppets was really fun as well. Like, I always like Master of Puppets, but I don't know, the energy, like, even though it was 2 hours in and the last song of the night, it's like the energy was still there. Like, everybody was still going. And it was really fucking amazing.
So awesome. And I can't, honestly, it's kind of a blur now. I can't remember if, you know, Matt's like, this is going to be our last song of the night, whatever it was, but it was the last song.
I think he did mention something about,
again,
we're
like,
closing it with Master.
Thanks for all the bands who came up here, blah, blah, blah. Like, all that. Like, it's a community, not only of musicians, but the fans and the band itself is a community, right? Like, we're here to have a good time. We're not here to hate. Let's just love each other and have a fucking amazing time. It was great. I loved every fucking moment of that. That was the end.
Of the concert.
At the concert.
Not of our night.
Lights come on. The crowd slowly starts to disperse. And then it's the whole act of, let's bring the shit on stage. That felt like there was a little bit of a lull.
I left at this point, by the way.
You did.
I wasn't there.
There was a little bit of a lull. People weren't tearing shit down just yet. Matt had jumped down. He was talking to fans, talking to people. And then eventually people started tearing their shit down. And I started grabbing the boxes from the back, doing the other part of the roadie. Now we had to tear down.
Oh, you're roadie again.
Yeah. Pulling the shit from the back to the stage, back to the stage. And then taking when they filled up, like the guitar boxes or whatever they filled up, from the stage and just making a pile of shit on the side. And I didn't want like people to be like, oh well, thanks for doing this, Brian. Like we're like, part of me is like, the band's job is to put on a fucking killer show and then go and greet the fans. Like we said, like these young kids, like if they've never been to a metal show before, like this is their first experience. This is awesome to like get that close to the band and after the show, hang out with the band, talk to them.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
And they took the time to talk to them and just meet with people and interact with them. And that was so fucking cool to see, of just like, you know, that pay it forward mentality type thing. Like you have to start somewhere as a new fan, and having the acceptance of the indoctrinated people, or the, you know, the people who are already in that circle, just open arms, like, come on, there's more room. Come on in. Let's have fun. Like, that was fucking phenomenal to see. Got all the shit off the stage, loaded it up onto the floor, then carried it all out to the trailer again. And I asked this earlier, like we were loading it all out to the trailer again. And I think I asked this earlier to somebody. I can't remember when we were pulling it off. I was like, you all have to get this back in that fucking trailer. It was packed to the fucking gills, like I'm saying. And like, oh yeah, no, it's no problem. We got this down. It's like, really? You have like numbers on this shit? Because it's like Tetris. And they're like, Greg is the goddamn Tetris master. And dragging it all out there again. Sure enough, he's there at the door. Like, I need a straight piece. I need a straight piece. Where's the, like, knowing exactly what he needs to go into what spot was awesome to see. And I don't know. By that time at night, I was a bit tired. But just pick a box up, walk on out, tap somebody on the shoulder. Excuse me, please, we're unloading or loading. Carry it back out, put it in. They've hacked up. We said goodbye. It was like 2 a.m. at this point.
1:30ish.
1:30ish. They still had a fucking 2-hour drive home. Mm-hmm. And then unload again. Like, sorry I wasn't there to help do that, but there's no fucking way I was making it to do that at like 3:34 in the morning. Like, no,
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Like, the band was so accepting. The band was so cool. And all the other band, like, just seeing it all from start to finish was so much fun.
Yeah. Like, I think going into it as, I guess in my mind, I was like, we're going to support our friend, watch his band play, or the band that he's in play. Not his band. It's not his band, but watch the band that he's in play. And, you know, like, and then we'll go home for the night. That was like my initial thought going in. But for us to go be able to see the beginning to end process, as well as have the enjoyment of being a fan of their performance as well, like getting that opportunity of seeing every single part of the entire concert process was amazing, and something that I'm already waiting for them to, you know, get things booked next year and, you know, make it to another show. Even though we've already seen the show once, like, this is one that I will go see again.
That is fair, right? We had the luxury of tagging along and just helping out the band.
You helped out. I did nothing.
Sure. Helping out the band. And then we got to be a fan at the same time. We didn't have to go work merch. We didn't have to worry about taking photos or filming, like worrying about the overall career. We just got to sit there and enjoy it. Like, we had no other worries, as other people, you know, did have to do and handle those responsibilities. So we got the best of both worlds. We got to experience the behind the scenes, and we got to experience the fan point of view, which was, all in all, every aspect of it was amazing for me. I don't know what you think, but this was definitely a close to the top experience for me for the year.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be hard. Like, we've talked about doing a year-end review And it's going to be really hard to rank everything, but this is up there.
Every
for me as
aspect
well.
of it, 100%. And
But it's so funny because when we left the concert last Monday, with Bloodywood, you're like, "Oh, this is the top concert for me this year." So
and that's what I was going to get to too, right? Is I think there's a commonality here.
the small venue.
The small venue.
Yeah, it's more intimate. Like I remember when we saw Disturbed at the Vic, and it's so intimate, and you're so close, and you're able. I mean, granted, it wasn't the same because we weren't helping Disturbed put their shit together, and we weren't helping Disturbed, but we were so. It's such an intimate thing to be in these smaller venues.
And the crowds, the crowds seem like they have so much more energy in these small things.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's exactly what I was getting to is the small venues, and we need to think about that. There might be something there.
Yeah, I really want to check out more smaller venues here in Chicago. Just to, I don't know, see what's like. Hopefully we find some that don't go till 1 o'clock in the morning, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. This was an amazing show. It was a fucking long episode. Sorry, folks, if you don't like that shit. If you do, awesome. Thanks for sticking around.
If not, just fast forward.
Yeah, just every 15 seconds, right?
Or play it. I think you can play it on like
two
two
times
faster. 3
faster.
times.
Thanks for sticking around. Go check out small bands. Go check out small venues. Like, we just discovered this. It's so much fucking fun.
Yeah, and like both when we saw Bloodywood at a small venue and when we saw Thrash of the Titans, it was like, I don't know what Bloodywood was, but Thrash of the Titans was $15 for a fantastic fucking night of entertainment. And Bloodywood was about the same.
$20 a ticket.
$20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have enough money to buy fucking lunch at work, like, take your lunch one day and see a fucking band.
And the community it's there for you. It's accepting. Like, don't be afraid of the community. This shit needs you. You need, like, hopefully you need it as much as we do. Like, this shit's fucking awesome. So thank you, Thrash of the Titans, for letting us tag along.
We're sorry if we were in your way.
Yes. Rehtek, WonkZilla'z, Gabe's, like, this particular show was so fucking awesome. All these people were so fucking awesome. It was a great time. Definitely try to get out there and experience this for yourself, please.
Yeah. Do it.
With that, hope to see you at another show. See ya.